On October 27, 2020, things seemed normal at Lake Oliver Dam. It was just another day. Deep underwater, professional diver Alex Reed Paxton was doing his usual job, checking the dam's walls for any problems. But there was a hidden danger waiting beneath the calm water. One small mistake with the safety plan would turn this ordinary dive into a scary fight for life. This is the story of Lake Oliver Dam accident. Pre-incident scenario. The tragedy at Lake Oliver Dam wasn't a sudden event. It was the combination of a series of seemingly ordinary but ultimately pivotal moments in the days and moments leading up to the accident. Below the surface, a different kind of mission was about to unfold. Eric Herbert and Alex Paxton, two seasoned commercial divers for Glenn Industrial Group, were geared up for the underwater inspection. Glenn Industrial had been contracted by Georgia Power, the company responsible for the dam, to check on a malfunctioning control gate. This dam, a technological marvel, harnessed the power of the flowing water to generate electricity for homes and businesses across the state. One particular gate, crucial for regulating the water flow, wasn't behaving as it should. Eric and Alex, a well-rehearsed team, knew the risks involved. Before any dive, they followed a strict safety protocol called Lockout-Tagout, LOTO. This procedure aimed to identify and disable any potential hazards lurking beneath the surface, like open valves or rushing currents. Powerful water pressure could easily turn a diver into a human pinball, and LOTO was their shield. The dam employees at Lake Oliver meticulously went through the LOTO checklist, double-checking and tagging out each item. Eric and Alex, never ones to rely solely on others, conducted their own final inspection for any pressure imbalances. They knew the exact locations of the control gates and the priming valves, as highlighted on the LOTO checklist. After confirming that these areas were calm and still, they gave each other a silent nod. It was time to enter the water-filled chamber and begin their underwater investigation. The incident. On October 27, 2020, a normal inspection at Lake Oliver Dam turned into a terrible accident. Diver Alex Paxton went into the water to check the dam for any problems. He didn't know that something very important in safety had been missed. The problem was with a pipe called the priming pipe. This pipe helps the dam work properly. When the dam needs to make electricity, a lot of water needs to be rushing through a big pipe to spin the wheels that make power. But if that big pipe was empty, the surge in water can break the wheels. To stop this from happening, a smaller amount of water is let into the big pipe first, through the priming pipe. This is called priming the pipe. The priming system at the dam had two ways for water to get in. One was a flap valve, like the one in a toilet tank. The other was a valve with the wheel handle. Both valves were important to control the water flow. This is where the incident happened. The divers were supposed to follow a safety plan to turn off any dangers before they went into the water. Normally, LOTO means locking and tagging the valves so that no one can turn them on by mistake. The divers were supposed to follow LOTO, but they made a grave mistake. Their checklist only listed one of the valves on the priming pipe, the flap valve. The valve with the wheel handle was left unlocked and open. As Paxton examined the dam, something terrible happened. The open valve on the priming pipe created a very strong difference in water pressure, like squeezing a water balloon on one side. Paxton didn't know about the open valve, and he probably swam close to the opening of the priming pipe. The big difference in pressure made a very strong sucking force, like a powerful current. Tragically, Paxton's arm got stuck in a 10-inch opening of the pipe, and the suction was incredibly strong, like being pushed by 850 pounds. This pressure was awful, and trapped Paxton's arm so he couldn't move or use his gear to float up. Even worse, the pressure squeezed his chest so much that he couldn't breathe underwater. The whole situation happened underwater, so nobody on the surface even saw it. Paxton likely realized that something was wrong very quickly. He couldn't breathe normally and he must have struggled very hard but silently underwater. The most important thing now was to find and close the valve that was causing the suction. Unfortunately, there was another problem. The wheel handle to close the valve was behind a locked gate, on the top of the dam. The dam crew surely rushed to help, but every minute that passed was very important. It took a long time to find the key, unlock the gate, and physically shut off the valve. About 30 minutes. By the time the crew stopped the suction and got Paxton out of the water, it was too late. The incredible pressure and the time underwater had hurt him too badly. Alex Reed Paxton was sadly declared dead at the scene. Response and aftermath. After the awful accident at 𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗨𝗧 Dam, everyone was trying to figure out what happened and how to prevent it from happening again. Rescue workers came right away, but it was very hard to get the valve that was causing the water to suck so hard. People started looking into the accident very carefully to see what went wrong. They found out that the safety procedures weren't followed correctly. There was supposed to be a plan to turn off any dangers before the divers even went in the water. But the checklist they used was missing important information. It only listed the valves that controlled the water flow, and the other valve was left open. Investigators decided that the company that runs the dam, 𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗨𝗧, hadn't followed the safety rules. Alex Paxton's family was heartbroken by his death and decided to take legal action against 𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗨𝗧. They said the company wasn't careful enough when it came to running the dam and keeping it safe. They also said that the safety procedures weren't good enough and that workers weren't properly trained on how to follow them. The exact amount of money they received in the settlement is private, but it helped Alex Paxton's family and hopefully made things safer for other divers. The accident at 𝗔𝗕𝗢𝗨𝗧 Dam scared a lot of people who work on dams. It showed how important it is to have very detailed safety plans and to follow them exactly every time. After the accident, dam operators all over the country looked at their safety checklists again and made sure that they listed everything that could be in danger, including all the valves in a system. They also started making sure everyone checked the plans extra carefully and that the divers and the people working on the surface talked to each other clearly. This sad event reminded everyone how important training is. People who work on dams, especially divers who go underwater to inspect them, need to be completely trained on safety procedures like lockout-tagout. This training shouldn't just be about memorizing a checklist. It should also teach people why the procedures are important and what the dangers are if they're not followed.